Don't care who is in office. If them not working for you, they're working against you. We are one Jamaica.
Why you send home the Cuban? Cuban, look up. Why did you? My mother worked at AMC.
Jamaica is in a crisis. We're in a crisis of governance. We're in a crisis of trust. We do not trust the government's word. We do not trust the government to tell us anything straight, to tell us the truth. Why do I say that?
Our people united, our people united, cannot be defeated. Our people united, cannot be defeated. Our people united.
What's up guys, welcome back to this channel once again. A massive protest in Crossroads, Jamaica is exposing the deep frustrations that many Jamaicans say have been building for years. People keep saying that Jamaica is divided by politics. I actually think that's the wrong conversation. The real divide is not orange versus green. It's between the ordinary Jamaicans who just want honesty and the leaders who seem to believe they don't owe the public any explanation. Because whether you support the government or the opposition, there is one question that nobody should be afraid to ask. What exactly is being done in the name of Jamaican people? So let's subscribe and watch until the end to find out what is happening, and then I'll come back with my comments.
United, cannot be defeated. Our people 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 united, cannot be defeated. One Jamaica, one
Jamaica is in a crisis. We're in a crisis of governance. We're in a crisis of trust. We do not trust the government's word. We do not trust the government to tell us anything straight, to tell us the truth. Why do I say that? The party deal. They signed an MOU in secret, and we wouldn't know anything about it if it were not for the gleaner who essentially burst the story. And then we've heard from them many different stories that simply don't make any sense.
I heard me a step a while ago, said the Prime Minister say have faith in Mr. Wheatley, and that was not true. He did not say that. He said confident in the work that he's doing as a minister.
In the work. Thank you very much for the correction, but he's still in the cabinet, and actions speak louder than words. And therefore, the action that the Prime Minister has kept him in the cabinet is the important thing, because even the conservative PSOJ have said that that is not right.
Well, we're here to support the Advocates Network, the group of civil societies that have come out here to demonstrate, to voice their opposition to this agreement that the government has entered into with the US to bring what I would call persons into the country. We don't know the terms of this agreement. We know nothing about it. The government has been hiding it, quite frankly, if it wasn't. And so we want that agreement to be tabled in Parliament, so that we know what the government has signed up to. We want to know why the government has agreed to accept these persons. Right? None of these questions have been answered. One minister said one thing, another minister said another thing. A third as we are demanding accountability. A cabinet minister has been recommended for the very serious charge of illicit enrichment. And we believe that person should step aside and attempt to clear his name, as is his right. But he should remain as a cabinet minister while those charges loom over his head.
It might be deported for immigration purposes, but they still involved in gun running, racketeering, shooting, murders. You know, so why bring them to a country like ours? They are prime candidates for our gangs to recruit, to make it more difficult for our JCF people, our security forces right now. And I'm also surprised how our agitated teams from the JCF are not speaking out. The Police Federation, the Police Officers Association. When I was a police officer for over 41 years, I was the General Secretary for the Police Federation. James Hart was chairman. We'll be asking questions now. How will these people impact the crime situation in Jamaica? How will we monitor their movement in and around the country? This is real cause for concern, and I'm happy that civil society is speaking out in the way that they are doing today. So I have no problem in coming out to show my support for this movement.
Don't care who is in office. If them not working for you, they're working against you. We are one Jamaica.
Why you send home the Cuban? Cuban, look up. Why did you? My mother work at AMC. My mother do impact program. So I know the struggle with my mother. I know $25.50. I know the struggle.
You cannot have rich politicians and messed up education system. We are one Jamaica, one people. One Jamaica, one Jamaica, one Jamaica, one Jamaica, one Jamaica, one Jamaica. That's it. We must stand up for Jamaica at all times. Don't go by color lines. Go by good governance. Make sure you stand up for Jamaica. Stand up.
For Jamaica.
Stand up.
For
Stand
Jamaica.
up.
For Jamaica.
Stand up.
For Jamaica.
Stand up.
For Jamaica.
Stand up. Because we are one Jamaica.
One people.
That's it, and that is what I want to say. Go home understanding that we are not representing any political party. We are representing the people of Jamaica. The people of Jamaica. Don't be fooled. Thank you very much.
Hundreds of Jamaicans gathered in Crossroads, Kingston today, turning one of the capital's busiest intersections into the center of a growing public protest. Demonstrators say they are demanding greater transparency and accountability from the government over Jamaica's Third Country Nationals, or TCN, agreement with the United States. Many carried placards, waved Jamaican flags, and chanted that the voices of ordinary citizens must be heard. Social activist Marvin Licolfia was also among those present, adding his voice to the calls for answers. While government officials have said the arrangement would involve only a limited number of screened individuals under strict conditions, concerns remain over national security, public consultation, and what the agreement could mean for Jamaica's future. Today's demonstration highlights the growing divide over the issue and shows that many Jamaicans want a greater say in decisions they believe could impact the country for years to come.
Brother man. Yeah man, manners and respect. So, I'm here in Crossroads just to lend support to the demonstration that has been promoted by the civil society groups that came on board together to protest some of the things going on in the country. You know, the way in which the government has approached this third country national deportee situation, the government's lack of transparency and, frankly, dishonesty in describing how this came about and what it is for. And, you know, we're aware that under US law, this whole arrangement is being questioned. That's an unsettled issue. And we think it's very premature and inappropriate for Jamaica to be embarking on an arrangement like this while the situation under the US law remains very uncertain. Not to mention the fact that there seems to be no discernible benefit to Jamaica from entering into this arrangement, and we only heard about it because it was leaked to the media. And then there's the whole question of Andrew Wheatley and his continued presence in the cabinet of the country. A week and a half later, after the Integrity Commission has reported to Parliament that he's being referred for prosecution, he's to be charged with serious offenses of corruption. In our system of governance, the standard procedure in such a situation is for that minister to step back, to either be forced to resign or to voluntarily resign from the cabinet until that matter is resolved or those issues are finally resolved in the courts. And for the Prime Minister to say that he has continued confidence in Mr. Wheatley in these circumstances reflects extremely badly on him and his judgment, because he claims he was not aware when he appointed Mr. Wheatley for the second time to the cabinet that the Integrity Commission was investigating him. That, if true, indicates a basis for removing him immediately anyway, because that ought to have been made clear at the time, rather than take the Prime Minister by surprise, if indeed it really did. But we know that the Prime Minister has his own Integrity Commission issues which are unresolved, and no doubt he's afraid of whatever precedent it may set for Mr. Wheatley to be asked to step back from the cabinet, because the issues also affect Mr. Holness' own status there. But Jamaican people deserve better. We deserve a government that we can trust, a government that abides by established norms of good governance. And that is why I'm here supporting the civil society demonstration, because I see our interests as essentially being aligned around these issues. And of course, there's a whole question.
So, welcome back, guys. The first thing that stood out to me was not the signs or even the speeches. It was one simple message that kept being repeated over and over again. One Jamaica, one people. And honestly, I think that's exactly where this conversation should begin. For too long, we've treated every national issue like it's a football match. If you criticize the government, you are labeled opposition. If you criticize opposition, you are labeled a government supporter. But what if you are simply standing up for Jamaica? So I think that should not be controversial. One speaker said something that really stuck with me. Don't go by color lines, go by good governance. And I think that is a very powerful message, because governance should not belong to any political party. It should be the standard that we expect from every government. Now, let's talk about what is actually bringing these people into the streets. The Memorandum of Understanding with the United States. Notice what many protesters are asking for. They are not claiming to know every detail about that deal. They are saying something much, much simpler. Show us the agreement. And honestly, that's a fair request. If an agreement could affect the country's future, the public deserves to know what is in it. So transparency is not a favor politicians offer to citizens. It's part of their job description. The government represents the people. That means the people deserve the answer, because once governments start making major decisions behind closed doors, trust begins to disappear. And trust is very hard to rebuild. That was another theme I kept hearing throughout these speeches. Not roads, not taxes, not even crime. Trust. Think about it. If people stop believing they are getting the full story, every announcement becomes harder to believe, even when it's true. So that's dangerous for any democracy. Another issue raised was the continued presence of cabinet minister facing serious corruption allegations. Now, let's be clear. Being accused is not the same as being found guilty. Everyone deserves due process. But holding public office comes with a higher standard. Sometimes stepping aside while an investigation takes place is not admitting guilt. It's about protecting public confidence in the institutions that are supposed to serve the people. So that's why this issue has resonated with so many Jamaicans. So here is a question for you. If you were leading a country, would you ask a minister facing serious allegation to step aside until the matter is resolved? Or would you leave them in office unless they were convicted? Let me know in the comments. I would like to hear your thoughts. But here is the part nobody talks about. This protest was not really asking impossible promises. People were not demanding miracles. They were asking for transparency, for accountability, for explanations. Those are democratic expectations. And I think that's why this message is connecting with so many people. Whether you support this government or the next one, that should not matter. The principles stay the same. Governments change, accountability should not. That's why citizens have every right to ask questions when decisions are made on their behalf. In fact, I think that asking questions is not anti-government. It's pro-democracy. The moment citizens become afraid to ask questions to those in power, democracy starts losing one of its greatest strengths. Peaceful protest, public debate, and demanding answers are signs that people still care about the future of their country. And that is something every Jamaican should want, regardless of their political affiliation. So the message I took from this demonstration was not about one party defeating another. It was much bigger than that. It was about reminding everyone that politicians work for the people, not the other way around. So thank you so much guys for watching until the end. If you are coming across this channel for the first time or you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you once again. I'll see you in the next reaction.